Valerie McCoy, and welcome to this week's live streamed episode of A Monday Moment with Mal. As always, may this broadcast bring you exactly what you need in the present moment. My love is extended to all who could use a little extra, and may my light exude positivity and kindness. Ashe, let's seize the moment. I start my show every week with a portion on gratitude, and this week I am grateful for my unshakable gratitude. I'm also ungrateful, or grateful, not ungrateful. I'm grateful for dark times. Um, as I put on my social media, the dark times allow us to see the light of situations. And so this past weekend was very challenging for me, probably one of the most challenging weekends of my life. However, every morning I still chose to practice gratitude. And I'm thankful because even though it's dark in the situation that I'm walking through, I can still see the light. So I'm completely grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you for tuning in. So thank you so much for being here. Now, I love me a good definition, and I'm team facts over feelings. So let's get into it. You should all know one thing. It's not the topic. What type of parent are you? You should know that I'm a lifelong student of Ayanla Van Zant. She may not know it, but I love listening to her wisdom of any soundbite or on any soundbite. And I actively seek her out. Like, what does the elder Ayanla Van Zant have for the people today? I especially love listening to her podcast. She hosts a podcast called The R Spot, which can be found on any platform where podcasts are streamed. I listen to her on Apple Podcasts because I'm Team Apple all day, but you can listen to her on any platform. But I think it's sponsored. No, I know it's sponsored by iHeartRadio. Anyway, if you need some relationship advice, I would encourage you to listen to all of her podcasts. And not just relationship advice, like human advice. I would encourage you to listen to her. She drops some really great dimes. It's free therapy and it's free game. But the episode that's relevant to today's topic of what type of parent are you is episode 20, entitled Men Have Feelings Too, where she speaks to a father who was former military and expresses to her that he is struggling with a divorce. He also expresses his worry that his two adult children weren't given a good life and may end up resenting him for his choice to leave their mother, even though it was best for him. At the 9-minute 30-second mark, she talked about 4 types of parents: the drill sergeant parent, do it because I said so; the make them happy parent, okay, I give in, whatever makes you happy, I'll do it; the inaccessible, unresponsive parent, look, going somewhere because I got some stuff to do, leave me alone; and the responsible parent that says, okay, I'll be with you in 1 second, come tell me what the problem is. She gave great advice to the caller, but I found myself listening to the episode a couple of times because it gave me something to process in my own space. What type of parent am I? And actually, as I was listening to it, I was walking through what type of parent I am and what type of parent my partner is. So that brings us to the topic of this week. What type of parent are you? Um, Upon further research, I learned that this parenting styles work, originates with Dr. Diana Baumrind and researchers Eleanor Macoby and John Martin. The 4 types of parenting are reflected actually in this chart. I'm sure you can see it because it's bigger than me, literally. And the 4 types of parenting are authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and uninvolved. The different parenting styles can have different effects on kids' behavior. You can tell which style of parenting is using, or you can tell which style a parent is using according to the certain traits and degrees of responsiveness, how warm or aware the parents are of their kids' needs, and demandingness, how much control parents are trying to exert over their kids' behavior. As I said, there are four types. I'll start in the top left corner with permissive parent. Common traits of the permissive parent are the following. They have high responsiveness, but they have low demand. Communicates openly and usually lets their kids decide for themselves rather than giving direction. The rules and expectations are either not set or rarely enforced, and they typically go through great lengths to keep their kids happy, sometimes at their own expense. Ultimately, permissive parents are easy to get along with. They are more likely to act as friends with their kids instead of parents. They try to stay out of arguments and will often give in to their kids' cries at the first sign of trouble. These parents don't really tell their kids what to do and let them do what they want. I'll bop over to the authoritative parent. So the authoritative parent has high response, high demand. They are able to set clear rules and expectations for their kids while practicing flexibility and understanding. They're able to communicate frequently. They listen to and take into consideration their children's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And they allow natural consequences to occur. So, for example, kid fails quiz when they didn't study, but uses those opportunities to help their kids reflect and learn. Parents who are authoritative care for and support their kids and are often aware of what those needs are. They teach their kids principles and how to think through open and honest conversations. Children whose parents are strict are often self-disciplined and able to think for themselves. So that's the authoritative parent. The uninvolved parent or the neglectful parent has these types of traits. Low response, low demand. They let their kid fend for themselves, perhaps because they are indifferent to their needs or uninvolved and overwhelmed with other things. They offer little nurturance, guidance, and attention, and they often struggle with their own self-esteem issues and they have a hard time forming close relationships. This type of parenting, which is sometimes called uninvolved parenting, is characterized by a general lack of interest to parent. Parents who are neglectful don't spend much time with their kids and don't follow the rules very often. People may also think of them as cold and uncaring, but that's not always the case because they're probably dealing with their own problems. So we often look at parents like, oh, they're not, on, but they, are most likely overwhelmed, as we all are. And lastly, the authoritarian parent. Common traits: they exhibit high demand, low responsiveness. They enforce strict rules with little consideration of the kids' feelings or social, emotional, and behavioral needs. They often say, because I said so, when their kid questions the reason behind a rule or a consequence. And notice the tone that I use because we've all heard, or maybe have said that ourselves, because I said so. Um, Communication is mostly one way from parent to child. This parenting style is characterized by strict punishment, which often is rationalized as tough love. Authoritarian parents frequently engage in one sided communication with their children, seeking to maintain complete control and disregarding any input or feedback from their child. And as you can see, the arrows that go up and down and left and right, all of these exist on a continuum, and no one falls completely into one space. Also, the type of parent that you see yourself as being may not be the way that your partner or other sees you as a parent. Speaking of partnership, I don't think there's a way to determine what type of parent you will be before you become a parent. But I think it's worthwhile for you and your partner to at least project what type of parent style you envision yourself being. Some of us try to emulate our own parents because if it worked for you, then surely it will work for your offspring, but that's not always the case. You have to find out what works with each one of your human offsprings. Notice I said human because I thought I was I wrote a blog about this, and you can actually go to this blog and you can go to the link of the blog that's called "I've Been a Parent My Whole Life." I thought I was ready, and I looked at different ways that I was a parent, but nothing. You can have dogs for 10, 12, 15, 50, 11 years. Nothing can prepare you for actually parenting a human. I said what I said. um, I I analyze actually my own parenting style that I developed with my dogs and then I developed with my son. And of course they're not the same, but there are some similarities. And I think that, or I know that I was more authoritarian with my dogs. But I will say also that my parenting is completely experiential, because there's it's multifaceted. It's just not one thing. Like everybody thinks their child comes with a lot, but truth be told, every kid comes with a lot. It just in my experience seeing with teaching, like all these little humans have all these little things built up in them. So what does research suggest? Well, it suggests that authoritative parents are more likely to raise independent, self reliant, and socially competent kids. While children of authoritative parents are not immune to mental health issues, relationship difficulties, substance abuse, poor self regulation, or low self esteem, these traits are more commonly seen in children of parents who strictly employ authoritarian, permissive, or uninvolved parenting styles. And let me tell you, I can tell the type of parenting style just by looking at a kid, possibly because I have a lot of experience with children being in the classroom for so long. But yeah, I can see it. And in my personal reflection for my own human, I know that as a parent, I am highly responsible or highly responsive, and I have variable demandingness, but I'm mostly permissive. I sit somewhere in between authoritative and permissive. The degrees to which anyone is responsive or demanding is subjective to the person experiencing and witnessing it. So I give myself grace in this space. But I know that my current partner, my family, my friends might have something else to say about my parenting style, but I don't care because that's my baby. So I say what I said. My call to action for you today and this week is to um, self-reflect. You're going to reflect on your parenting style and ask yourself, what type of parent are you? And does it coincide with the type of parenting style your child thrives in? So that's really the key. And are you able to, after analyzing and understanding that possibly your parenting style does not match your child, are you able to make the necessary modifications to promote a wholesome parent child experience? Because ultimately, they don't have time for us to get it together. You will blink your eyes and they will be all grown up trying to heal from what they endured because of what they went through with you. And I'm preaching to the choir and me with that one. And because every day's a journey. Um, if you care to share what your parenting style is, you can DM me, catch me in the interwebs, and let me know your thoughts. Okay. This is a short episode today because my mind's running a mile a minute. So, um, quotes for uh, this week. Children are the living messages we send to a time we will not see. Neil Postman. And I often reflect on this because, yes, my son will prayerfully outlive me. So, what is he going to take from me into the future? And I hope that he takes this over encompassing big bubble of love that I choose to exude to him. Um, and then I love this quote: children have never been very good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. And that's the late great James Baldwin. And that is the truth. Um, yeah, that's the truth. There's nothing new to say about that. And then last week, I offered some affirmations for the parent. And this week, I'm offering affirmations for you to tell your child or your children. Because the power of words. In a couple of weeks, you will see a replay of a show that I put out called You Are What You Consume. But the power of words is definitely emphasized in that. And I would certainly love for you to take a look at that particular episode. But put these on the psyche and in the minds and the hearts of your child every day. There is no one better to be than yourself. You are loved. You are worthy. You are enough. Every day is a day to get better at something. You have powerful abilities. Your challenges will help you grow. You choose your own attitude. I believe in you. I am so proud of you. How many times do we need to hear someone tell us how proud they are of us? That even works for adults too. So, that's it for me this week. For the next couple of weeks, I'll be running, like I said, replays of two of my favorite shows that I aired in January as I prepare for my dissertation defense on May 1st. So the next time that I appear before you live, I will be Dr. Mal. That's going to be my new moniker. So please tune in to relive the moments. The first one up is gaslighting your gut, and then the next week after that is you are what you consume. Until then, love and peace to all of you. Have the best week.